The background is France, but the movie is shot in Belgium. The racial discrimination also happened in Belgium after knowing Sophie was an immigrant from Poland. And France is a traditional immigrant land. When other European countries combine with high facility and immigration, France is in order to avoid the population deathline. As a human rights country, France is willing to become the land of political asylum. Since the beginning of this century, the French accept the Italian, Poland, and the Spanish. So, because of this background, racial discrimination is very common. And the guy and the girl grow up together and fall in love. But both of them are afraid to express their love because there is a cruel obstacle between the lover. It is poverty gap.
As for the poverty gap, as we can see from the movies, Sophie is a Polish girl, and when they were in primary school, she was always bullied by other children. And Julian's father slapped the girl when he first met her. So this problem is very serious. And 10 years later, when they grow up, Julian has high social status, but Sophie was a waitress. And people's marriage have to establish with thinking about social stratification. Two people which have totally different income, working experience, knowledge, and so on. They are not perfectly matched, so they cannot be together.
In this romantic film, the box runs through the whole film. The box like key lead the story, and it is witness to their games.
At the beginning of the film, the box on the floor indicates the final result. The story like fairy tale, the emotion of people due to a carousel of magic books. They play the game called Dare or Not Dare.
This rapidly describing class. They play games 10 years, but they never admit they love each other. They use a box decided everything in their life. So they have problem even they use the box to make up their mind with love, life and dice.
Finally, the camera went back on the box of the cement floor. The carousel's books witness the frozen love. They tolerate each other, but they cannot separate from each other. This is a love of them, which also is a love from box.
As we have discussed in class, love is a culturally produced concept. It's a social construct and therefore has different meanings and characteristics attached to it. One of them that is present in the film is the concept of eternal love, a love that never ends. The notion is present in the movie in a very dramatic and radical way, since neither of the characters can be together, but living without each other is killing them. They decide to commit suicide by laying in a pit that will eventually be filled with cement. The final shot on the first shot of the film is the sealed pit. The eternal love is thus represented by the grave in which they decided to abandon their physical lives to be eternally together. By doing that, their love is sealed by escaping from the disturbances of the world. The meaning that I personally think the movie is trying to transmit is the tearing apart the romantic idea of eternal love. The film tells us that it's not as beautiful as it may sound. It's selfish and unreachable, and the only way that such a thing could exist is by putting an end on their lives.
I think this movie indicates the sense of where love is limitless, where they were inseparable with each other. Like what Sylvia was saying, the eternal love actually represents the death of them. And another effect was that how the movie grew and how their love grew with each other was the identitarian love which transmitted into a unifying love, where identitarian love, I categorize it in a sense that they had that friendship love, where love was from the furthest. In another sense as well, when you talk about the unification of love, I think somehow or rather when they were growing up, they grew fond of each other, but they were never together. Sorry, and that unification of love actually transmitted when they portray that eternal love to them was to die together, and that's when the love represented something important to them, you know. And at the same time, wherever they were, like let's say, because in the movie they had that long 10-year period where they didn't meet and this and that, but after that 10 years, what brought them back together was that small box, you know, bringing them together and playing the game again. So that's how their eternal love actually works. And when you talk about the eternal love in the city space in Belgium, where it was shot, this is to say that their love transmitted from that identitarian love, where it started in Belgium, and it grew into unification love, where it also ended in Belgium. So this is to say that eternal love that never dies, in a sense that when they got into the pit where it was going to be filled with cement and things like that, they had that small tin box with them, where they find it to be really a symbol of love, and they would die with it as well. And that's where we see it from a perspective that it is not seen as a poison of love. It's more of an antidote, where they believe that even if they die, they will be together until the very end. When you talk about eternal love as well, like there's also a sense of selfishness, because in the movie, like they were portraying, you know, like the guy married off to another woman and he had children, and even the protagonist female, she also married off to a man who was actually popular around the world. So I think that sense of selfishness also tells you that eternal love do last when two people form together, and anything that happens around them does not even matter. Everything to them is just that sense of individualization love, where they were married off to other people, but at the end of the day, that individualization love came back. And that's the sense of eternal love that we found in this movie, this film.